Hello and welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Show. I am your host, Jay Jones. Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the Black community by promoting business ownership. If you are currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, we invite you to join us every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint.
Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 345. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding and informative show in store for you. Today we're going to be talking with the founder of Black Sands Entertainment, Mr. Manuel Godoy. Now, if Black Sands Entertainment sounds familiar, then you probably have seen it online because they do a tremendous job of promoting the comic book and the videos. So today, Manuel and I are going to discuss his entrepreneurial journey and how getting fired from the FAA a week before he got tenure basically pushed him into Black Sands Entertainment. Now, before we get into today's show, I want to share a few things with the BEB family. First and foremost, I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family. Please stick around until the end of today's show, and I'm going to share all my social media contact information and my resource links, such as the link to my new book, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses, and also 2 platforms to help circulate dollars in the Black economy, BeSmartByBlack.com and HireBlackFreelancers.com. Also, I do want to mention my new rebranded, rebooted Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Academy, BEBacademy.com. Now, let's take a listen to the interview with Manuel Godoy, the founder of Black Sands Entertainment, and how he overcame getting fired to build Black Sands Entertainment, currently valued at over $10 million. We are live with Mr. Manuel Godoy of Black Sands Entertainment. Manuel, how are you today, brother?
I'm doing great.
Good, man. Hey, first and foremost, I want to say I've been a big fan of Black Sands Entertainment for several years now. You can't go on the web, man, without seeing you guys somewhere. So you guys are doing a tremendous job with promotion. So for my listeners who are not familiar with you, just give me a little background on you personally, and then we're going to jump into your entrepreneurial journey.
Roger that. Well, my name is Manuel Godoy. I'm 35 years old. I've been a military veteran. I was in the Army for about 6 years. Got out in 2008. Joined the job market as a telecommunications engineer. And then that entire field got outsourced to India. So I had to go and find a new path. Went to college for a couple of years, did the GI Bill, go America, and eventually landed into the comic space. I couldn't really find any gainful employment for years, like close to 5 years. I couldn't find gainful employment. So I had to make a different path, something I could do myself, right? Because, you can't just reset after having, a pretty, substantial career and some pretty high level fields, right? You just can't just reset and start over. So I had to make a different play, and I started going into comics, making our stories about, ancient Egyptian mythology, and just took off from there. And, we haven't stopped since.
Cool. Now, it's funny, man, because I know people ask you this all the time, but I got to ask for the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family. What made you decide to say, hey, I'm going to go into the comics? Is this something that you had a love for ever since you were a child, or what made you make that decision to cast your lot in that industry?
Well, in all honesty, it was quite a mistake. I had started my career doing the wrong thing, which was I was trying to do video games right off the bat. Video games are very, very expensive. So I burned like $20,000 to make the Black Sands video game, right? And I did make a demo, so I did
Okay.
complete something, but I was like, this is gonna cost like like 6 times more than what I already spent, right, to finish it. And I was like, I just don't have the clout, right, to get the kind of support online yet to get that much money. And I was like, I think it's best if I pivot. So I changed the story up a little bit, go to a younger generation in the story, same story, Black Sands.
Hmm.
And I made a comic book instead, which was significantly less cost to develop. And went to Kickstarter, raised 20,000, realized, hey, I can just do this all day, right? I can do comic books, and they're a very viable product for me. And ever since then, I just kept making it better, doing better, being a lot better at messaging to my customers, and really scaled from there.
Now, in terms of your financing, so Kickstarter, in addition to I guess whatever else you put into it, that was the way that you started the business.
Yeah, I was always at the beginning. I was spending a lot of money, so I was significantly in the hole right at the beginning, making these products. My first comic was like $5,000 before I even went to Kickstarter, right?
Okay.
So we were definitely in the hole a bit at the beginning, and you know luckily we had a very overly successful campaign on Kickstarter, right, which helped me get back to zero, right? And later that year in 2017, we went to our first conventions. Uh, I think it was Anime Week in Atlanta. So AWA, and that was the first convention we ever went to. We actually had some physical books that we started selling there. And then that Christmas, that year, we did like freaking like $45,000 on Christmas on
Wow,
online sales in our Shopify store. And I said, whoa, this is crazy.
that's
I was like, there's a lot of money in this comics space, right?
right.
And and then ever since then I've been like awakened to the e-commerce side of things, and that's where we do all our damage nowadays.
Cool, cool. So now, do you have graphic skills? And who created the characters? Was that all the characters came from your imagination, or did you have
Yeah,
help creating
so
the characters?
so I do direct the way the characters developed. My artist is David Lenneman. He's been working with me for years now, and now he's the art director of the company. So he got
Okay.
a big promotion, you know. But yeah, he's been with me for forever. He's a professional artist. He's been doing it for forever. Like he does like the high end like statuettes and stuff for like Ubisoft,
Oh
League of
wow.
Legends, Dream, like all these major companies that have really, really, really high end merchandise.
Right.
He develops all that. So he's a great character developer. And at first we had to find the right proper look for a true African, Egyptian, right?
Right. Right.
Ah, we can't have too many features that are too European in this. We got broaden that nose, round that
Right.
face. We gotta do some stuff. We gotta make sure that these characters are blacker than black, right?
Right.
So yeah, we did some adjustments, and I was always some like sci-fi type guy, so I figured out a style in which we can kind of futurize the ancient Egyptian look, so it doesn't look so you know
Right. Old.
some rugged, some Prince of Egypt, I guess it's too basic to us. We need to make him look a little flyer. So so
Okay.
so so we did it that way. Now we have this really cool IP with amazing characters.
Yeah, I tell you, the graphics are amazing for all of your characters. I wanted to ask you, did you have any experience prior to this in storyboarding or creating stories for comics? Because I think sometimes people think that, hey, I'm just going to draw a character and voila, I got a comic book. But there's storyboarding, there's plot, there's a whole lot that goes into it. So did you have experience in that? Or was that something that you learned along the way?
I definitely learned that along the way, but I was a big like um like I said, I went to video games. I'm a big video game fanatic, especially RPGs.
Okay.
So I built the entire Black Sands universe based off of RPGs. You
Okay.
know, like mindset. All right, like so I had the whole world developed of Black Sands for multiple generations, right? Timelines and everything else, and then I picked my favorite timeline and I go through that one, right?
Okay.
Like this one right here is the best timeline in the story. Let's follow that story, and we made that one. That was the Kids to Kings saga, which
Okay.
eventually became Black Sands and Seven Kingdoms.
And it's so amazing. It's something that you just said that, you have thought all of this out in advance in creating your storylines and things of that nature. So, to me, that's something that's special. I don't think a lot of people will have that scope and even think about that, uh, because most people are thinking, all right, I got to get from A to B, and pretty much after that, I'm done. Do you have any help in terms of the creative for Black Sands Entertainment, or is all of that just you?
Yeah, that's just me.
I checked out your website and I've checked out some of your videos, and I think it was in a Kickstarter campaign, or I'm not sure which one. You talked about, and I'm paraphrasing, being unapologetically Black, right?
Yeah.
And when you were, and so, question for you right now, I did an episode titled "To Be or Not to Be a Black Owned Business," and the question was, do you put yourself in the forefront, or do you put yourself in the back? And the reason I asked that was, and I wanted to see what the response, I got a tremendous response from the show, because some people don't want to be the face of their business. And so, did you ever think about that when you were creating Black Sands Entertainment?
My thing is, that question always revolves around what are you selling?
Right.
If you're selling something that's general, right, then you don't want to put your face on it because it will hurt your sales in the general market. It just will.
Right. Yeah.
There's this old Jim Crow era policy with Southern Republican, white men and women, where they cannot partake in any of your business that isn't serving them. So a
Right.
southern white man has no problem going to your restaurant and eating them ribs that you made for him, that you personally made for him. Good job, you made that for him. So he
Right.
feels great about that. But reading your book, right,
Something different.
or,
Yeah.
or watching your movie, I don't want
Yeah.
to do all that. That's that's not inclusive or whatever, right?
Right.
Then the other way though, if you're selling like products like toilet paper or whatever, right? You're doing a very normal product. You definitely don't want to be the face of that if you're serious about doing your business, unless you're trying to dominate that niche. If you're trying to dominate that niche specifically with Black customers, you might have to go hard in there. But it really depends on what you're selling. I'm selling a story about Black Egyptians,
Right.
so I have no other choice than to be in front,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because no matter what I do, white people ain't gonna read the story in mass. Right?
Right.
There's going to be the liberals, and that's about it.
Right.
Right?
No.
They're the only ones that are going to read this thing. Everybody else ain't, and Europeans love it too. So
Right.
I ain't got no beef with them, right?
Right. well, I tell you, I want the light bulb to go off for the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family and listen to what Manuel just said. Basically, you have to recognize and understand who your target market is. And so if it's beneficial to be the face of that, and I definitely agree 100%, man, and being totally unapologetic about who you are, who's your market, and the stories that you're trying to create, man.
Yeah, but this is the thing, though, right?
Mhm.
This is my policy, and I told this the other day on TikTok. I said a lot of people out here scared of racism. They scared of it. Oh, they threatened me. Oh, they called me this. Oh, they called me that. I always tell people like this: you do realize that they're giving you weapons. They're basically handing you weapons. Is that once they go on there and make their statements public, you can go and embarrass the hell out of them. You can embarrass the hell out of them in front of everybody, and then everybody who reads that is your core customer because you didn't make that hair product.
Right.
You didn't make that hair product for white people. I'm sorry. You made it for Black people, for Black people problems with their hair. And then you say you're getting attacked by them.
Yeah.
They just basically galvanize your troops. Your troops might have not have supported you at that time. They might have went back to the freaking hair salon and got the Chinese products. Right. And would have been happy. But because you got attacked so publicly and they were coming at you so viciously, now your base is ready to burn everything down in order to make sure you succeed. you know? And so I always say, you know, don't let that stuff stress you out. If they attack you, use that attack. Is that
Yeah.
it's what they call it? What they call it in politics? False flag.
Yeah.
False flag. You done started a war for me. Thank you. I needed this war. I needed this war. I had a problem. You know, so I'm a big user of that. People attack me. I love it. It's the greatest moments in the world when I get attacked because that means I can galvanize some more troops to my cause. That's it. You know.
Nah, that's a great way to think about it, man. I wanted to ask you real quick. I saw in your bio that your wife is in the business with you, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, is her background similar to yours, or has she been in that industry or the entertainment or comic industry, or she just said, "Yo, this is my man. Let's rock. We gonna do it."
Yeah. For me, you know, this is just the basis of any decent relationship.
Hmm.
Like you gotta have, like they have to have responsibilities in the company as well. Otherwise, it's gonna make them crazy and jealous and angry, and it just happens. No matter
Yeah.
whether you're the husband or the wife, doesn't matter. If someone has a business and that business is, you know, worth anything at all, right?
Right.
And they're doing
Hmm.
a lot of work for that business, and you're not a part of it,
Right.
it's like a completely different life that's being
Yeah.
lived, and that is a huge problem, dude. So they have to be involved. Now she does books as well, so she does children's books, and
Oh, cool.
she just got into manga now because she was like seeing how basically comics and manga in our company are just booming, right?
Hmm.
So there's no point doing children's books at this point
Right.
with us. And she handles all of the financial books, so she deals with the accountant all the time, doing there's a
Okay.
ridiculous amount of accounting going on right now because we know we raise capital now, you know,
Right.
so we have to do a lot more finances than we used to before, you know, and she handles the entire process, all the financial side of things. And so long as we have completely different hats in the company,
Hmm.
right, everybody's happy. And
Yeah.
everybody wakes up happy to talk about the company in the morning instead of, oh, you're always talking about that company, right? It's like that that happens. You know,
Yeah. That's
a
true.
company's success can ruin a relationship just as much as debt or anything else because it's a completely different life. Nobody else,
Right.
like, you're not connected to it. It's separate
Right.
from you, right? So you gotta figure that out, and you gotta do it in a way that you don't step on each other's toes too. Completely
Yeah.
separate responsibilities has to.
Right. Now that makes a lot of sense, man. You're speaking from wisdom, from experience there. And a lot of times it's not just the failure of a company that can cause conflict between a spouse and and their partner. The success can also. I know a lot of times the failure comes meaning the money isn't there, and of course, money is usually the number one cause for divorce, unfortunately, in the United States. So, but yeah, you make a great point that success actually, if you guys aren't working together and working on one accord, can be just as bad as the actual failure.
Success is
Uh,
like another woman.
yeah, you're right.
Cheating
Right, you
on me with
spending too
that
much
company.
time with that other woman. man, man, so uh, in terms of you said that you're raising capital right now,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to get to this till a little later, but you brought it up, so I'm gonna jump here, then I'm gonna come back. Um, what are you looking to do in the next 5 years with Black Sands? Are you looking for feature films? Are you looking for uh if you don't mind, I don't know if you got something in the pocket you don't want to give up yet, but trust me, I won't tell anybody, man. It's just us.
Well,
Nah, I'm
I'll
joking.
be like, I'll say this: if my
Mhm.
company isn't worth $500 million within 5 years, I'll consider myself have failed.
Wow.
Because I have everything I need right now to get there. You know,
Cool, cool.
and we're already valued at a $10 million valuation. So,
Okay. In terms of employees, man, how many like full-time employees do you have?
nah, it's just me and my wife. We're the only employees there.
Gotcha.
Everybody else is either contracted for a certain amount of time,
Gotcha.
um, and that's about it.
Okay. Now that makes sense.
I think our
That
animation studio will have a lot of permanent employees once we get into the full production of the season, right? Because that's like
okay.
a 2 to 3 year production, so people are gonna have like year-long contracts. Most likely,
Right.
they'll have benefits and stuff like that.
Um, that Now, being out there and being as popular as you guys are, have you gotten any feelers or deals from major studios or anything to work with you?
Yeah, so I do have an agent which constantly pitches my books to like certain um, companies. So like for instance, I want to have some books in Scholastics, right? Children's books or whatever, just
Right.
because they own the children's book market in libraries, and to simply get into that market with Scholastics would open up my entire company's catalog to
Right.
libraries across the United States. I have PGW distributing my stuff to the industry, so they sell to Barnes and Nobles and all the other places that typically I wouldn't be able to get into. So
Right.
they handle that for me.
Okay.
Uh, and I also have some animation deals on the table. We're gonna see if those close out, but some of our properties will be might be co-developed by major studios.
Okay.
That's good.
Cool.
Don't give up too much power when you do
Right.
that. you
Well,
know,
yeah, that's the key. That's the key. And I know a lot of properties or assets such as yours make money off of branding other products. So like Doc McStuffins, the book bags, the licensing aspect of it.
okay, yeah.
Do you license your characters
Not
to
yet.
others or do you just for yourself?
Yeah, not yet. We don't license yet. So
You
so
don't.
we don't do much merchandise. I've never had much success with merchandise. I'll be
Oh
honest
yeah.
with you. I just
Okay.
I just never had much success with merchandise. So I doubt that. But with that being said, our job is to make this show and then eventually do
Mhm.
licensing like crazy, right? Just
Right.
hand off the IP to a whole bunch of people to go make book bags,
Exactly.
freaking any kind of merchandise they want, boom.
Yeah.
But historically, myself, like I might sell one shirt every like 20 books.
Really?
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I'm like, I got all these shirts in different sizes. I hate these shirts. I'd be mad as heck with some dang shirts. So I was like, I'm done with it. Right.
Yeah.
So now I just focus on books. Even my Kickstarters nowadays, like only books. They're like, you don't got the posters, the shirts? They said, no, I sell books.
Right. Now, but I think that's important because that's your core. That's your core product right there. And then based on that core product, then the ancillary things can come around that. But yeah, you got to focus and stay true to your core product.
Yeah,
Now,
but one
mhm,
thing too, I would like to follow up on that is, for any entrepreneurs out there, he said, have no problem killing stuff that isn't selling. Don't carry stuff that isn't selling, right? Even if you spent a lot of time to develop it, if it's not working, don't push it. Don't keep re-upping on it. We've
right,
killed books before in the past that just weren't selling. We just said, you know what, we're not going to print this anymore. We're,
right.
we're
Now
not
that
going to do
makes
it. It sits around too long. We're not getting the return that we need on it. Boom. So
now now in terms of printing your books, do you do print on demand or do you all print in bulk and then
both
reorder? Both?
bulk, just
Oh,
bulk.
bulk. Okay, gotcha.
Uh,
So you pretty much know right now. I guess you've been in business for multiple years, so you probably know what your flow is in terms of your inventory management, I
yep.
presume. Okay, cool. Have you found that there's been any specific thing or actions that you've taken that have increased your sales on a consistent basis? Now I know if Oprah was still around and you were on Oprah, obviously you'd have that Oprah effect. But are there certain marketing tactics or techniques or things that happen to you or that you've done that will automatically increase your sales?
Well, we just gotta get more books out faster. So what happens is
Okay.
whenever a new release comes out, you have like a 2-week, 3-week burst of sales, right? Where people are returning to the store, buying that newest book that comes out, and then they buy a whole bunch of other stuff as well that maybe they didn't get last time,
Right.
right? And it's like a big, it's like the ultimate abandoned cart recoverer, right? It's like a new
Right.
book is the ultimate abandoned cart recoverer.
Right.
So those are important. We haven't been doing them as much, but now we're doing them very quickly. Like we're getting like I think 8 issues out this year for Black Sands alone, not including
Oh
any
wow.
other titles and stuff like that. So we're gonna have plenty of nice, beautiful red bait for people to come back to the store, right? And we got a large email list, so that's always good for us. But I always tell people like, when it comes to this particular thing, Facebook is always the best platform for selling products,
Mhm.
period. Facebook ads, they're good. Sometimes they change things to the algorithm and it's hell to pay for everybody, right? So,
Right.
so, so for me, it costs me a little bit, right? But at the end of the day, it still brings in a pretty consistent amount of money, and obviously organic traffic through social media is important, right? But you got to
Definitely.
very different kind of marketing when it's social media.
Yeah.
You got to be able to really tap into the emotions of people. You only
Right.
got a second or two to stop them, right?
Hmm.
It's scrolling. You only got a second or two to stop them, so you got to
That's
figure
right.
out how to get them to stop.
Yeah. Now, do you handle all your social media marketing or do you outsource that?
No, that's me. I do
Okay,
that.
cool. Man, you're master of multiple talents, brother. That's good stuff. In terms of your decision to put out Eight of the Black Sands, just that series this year, is it in 2021 you're looking to do eight?
Yeah, at least 8.
At least eight. Okay. And the reasoning when you said that, I started thinking about Master P, right? So when Master P was, no limit, he was putting out like an album a week almost with all his artists. So is the concept behind that to create and continue to have that momentum for the whole year as you continue to put out new additions to the series?
Yeah, and make sure your customers don't forget you. Simple as that,
Hmm.
right? It's hard to forget you when a new series, a new issue is coming out every month, right?
Right.
You're like, oh, man, well, that means I gotta go. I'm gonna go back. Hey, I didn't get this yet. I'm gonna get that. Oh,
Right.
by the way, my nephew, he's in town today. Let me go and get him a set.
Right. Right. Right.
Right? It's like
Now that makes sense.
all of a sudden, people just keep coming back, and you got to keep reminding them why they're a part of this movement, right? Because they're
Right.
not just customers; they're also investors, right? And
Exactly.
I have 2,700 investors now. I'm looking to have a couple, tens of thousands of investors.
Right. Now that makes sense, man. In terms of your target market for comics, what is your sweet spot? Is it parents that are buying for the kids, or is it young adults, or where's your sweet spot
Parents,
for you?
parents that are buying
Parents.
for the kids.
Okay.
So that's our core demographic. 25 to 34 year olds tends
Okay.
to be our thing. 55% of our customers are parents. So
Okay.
we've done that
Cool.
service.
Okay. Now, well, the reason I wanted to bring that up is for prospective entrepreneurs and current entrepreneurs out there, these are the things and the metrics that you need to understand about your customer base. You also mentioned something that I preach about all the time. I own over the years 17 different businesses. My businesses now are my e-commerce business, and then I have my brands. I have several product brands. But you had mentioned something earlier that I talk about all the time, which is your email list. And I try to let people know your database is like your biggest asset of your business, because every time you come out with a new edition, guess who's going to get notified? Your database, right? So how many people do you have in your Black Sands universe, in your database, man?
So for me, I have 29,000
That's good.
people on my list,
Yeah.
and about 4,000 of them are super active. So they always read, they always open up every single email that they get, right? And
Right.
then the rest are like infrequent. But
Gotcha.
to put the numbers in perspective, my email list cost me $220 to maintain a month, right?
Hmm.
And I could easily, if I really wanted to push it, I don't. I never want to push my email list too hard. But if
Right.
I really wanted to push it, I could easily do $10,000 or more in sales off of that email list by itself a
Right.
month, right? And I'm always do at least 4 or 5,000, just from a couple of like updates and
Right.
stuff like that. And I've been getting money from articles like stuff like, hey, I just got an article with CPR, right? Like,
Hmm.
look, comic book resource just wrote about me,
Right.
and oh, here are the products they were talking about.
Right. No, no, that's
Right?
good stuff.
They just go and you'll see the conversion. So yeah,
Yeah.
email is very important. Text is important too, but
Mhm.
I just don't like text. I think
Gotcha.
it's invasive.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you.
That's
Now
why I
you
got an app, right?
right. Well, and you're right. Once again, it's about knowing your customers. What do you think? How do they want to be contacted? Do they like this? And so, and one of the things that anybody that's listening to this, I want y'all to listen real deep to what my brother is saying, because he's giving you all types of gems about running a business. We're talking about Black Sands, but the content that he's giving you is applicable to any type of business. Being consistent with your customer base. That's what Donald Trump was doing, right? He was speaking directly to his
He didn't give
customer.
a
He didn't
damn.
give a damn.
He didn't
Right?
give a damn about your feelings. He didn't care about your feelings. He didn't even care about moderate Republican feelings. He said,
Exactly. He
I'm
was
going for the
speaking.
base.
Yep. He was speaking to his customer base, unapologetic about it. You know your metrics, you know your numbers, and these are the things, or the indicators that you need to focus on to be successful. So one of the metrics I always talk about is, people always say, oh man, you get up, and if you're in e-commerce, you're obviously going to look at how many sales did I do today, last night or whatever. Okay, good day. I said, my number one metric is how many people did I add to my database? Because that's just going to be a direct reflection of what my revenues are going to be. So I tell people, I said, focus. Yeah, you got to make sales to stay in business, but it's a long game, and building that database and creating that asset of a database. That's the difference between $1 million product launch versus $100 product launch. If you have 29,000 people in your database and I got 29, guess what? Your launch is going to be a whole lot more successful than mine. It's just a function of the numbers. So, yeah, man, I wanted to ask you also, coming from the Army, then not being able to find something in terms of employment for several years, how was it? Take me back to how that felt when you said, you know what, I'm going to go full speed ahead with Black Sands Entertainment. What was the thought process behind that? And just take me inside Manuel's brain at that time.
Well, what had happened was, like, the world forced me into it. Like, so I had done Black Sands, writing it for a while, right? I was got to make this comic book, but lucky for me, on that, like, last of the 5 years or whatever, right? I got a FAA job. I was working at the FAA, right? So I was like, okay, I got the FAA. This is nice gig, right? Really, really high level stuff. And I was doing my first year tenure, right? Because you got a first year probationary period, right? They can fire you without cause for the first year. After that, you're a protected status federal employee, right? So I was like, okay, I'm about this. The last week of the of the 1 year tenure, they let me go.
Damn.
I was like, come on, man. I should have called in sick this whole week.
Right. He still might have fired you, man.
I should call. They will not be able to call me, or I would. Everything would be disconnected. I make sure nobody could contact me for a whole week.
Oh man.
Right? It's like they done got me on the last week. So I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm about to do this for life.
Man, you almost like Craig and Friday. You got fired on your day off almost, huh? So did you have any trepidation when you made that final decision, or you were just like, let's go?
They made it easy for me. Well, what was I gonna do?
Yeah, that's true.
I was like, what was I gonna do at that point? They made it easy.
Can you share with the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family a time where you had a setback with your business, and how that affected you? What did you do to overcome it, if you overcame it, and what did you learn from it? And I know there probably a lot of them as an entrepreneur. So,
because in all honesty, Black Sands was pretty smooth. I tell you one thing that really pissed me off for a long time was the accounting side of raising capital.
Okay.
Oh man, the accounting side of raising capital is crazy. I mean, you gotta get CPA reviews, and then once you get a certain amount of money, you gotta do an audit, and that's when the world ends, right? It's like it's like, so what did you do with your books in 2017 with this Kickstarter campaign? How did you once you got the money, when did you allocate the funds for the distribution of that money? Did you earn it at this date, or did you earn it at that? I'm like, it's Kickstarter, man. I give the books to the people. I give the books to the people that they asked for. I didn't say what price it was because it's Kickstarter. You're like using all this real world logic on them. And they're
Right.
like, well, according to the SEC, we have to get this in this particular type of way,
Wow.
right? You don't have this? How could you not? You're like, oh my God. So yeah,
Yeah.
you really learn. Like that is frustrating as hell. And I always tell people, uh, make sure that you're doing, like run your business like a business.
Right.
Don't go, oh, I made 50,000 this year. So I mean 50,000 this month. So I'm gonna spend 50,000 on my new car.
Right.
Right? It's like please separate yourself from the money and pay yourself a check. Like pay
Right.
yourself. Say, hey, I'm getting paid 10,000 this month.
Right.
Right? In an
Mhm.
actual payment to me, and then I can spend that 10,000 however I want because it's my money. Right?
Exactly.
But cut yourself a check. Don't go and just spend out of the damn business account or something like that, or you're gonna have nightmares later on if you ever want to raise capital.
Definitely. Yeah. That good old commingling, as they call it, but with your assets. Now, let me ask you in terms of that, because I get a lot of people coming to me talking about Kickstarter and crowdfunding. What is some advice for somebody that has done it successfully? And you've done it several times, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What
I've
is
done
some
Kickstarters, I've done equity crowdfunding, all that stuff.
Yeah, so give us some pointers or some tips or some advice to people that are looking to raise capital in that way.
Well, the first thing is professionalism. So look at other people's campaigns and copy them. All right.
Okay.
You don't have to be the best looking one ever. Right. I
Yeah.
always say this: if you're spending anywhere near your end goal to raise the money,
Mhm.
right? Then you messed up somewhere in the line. So
Right.
if you're raising $5,000 and you spent $3,000 to prepare your Kickstarter, something went wrong, terribly
Right.
wrong,
Gotcha.
right? I tell everybody $500 for a Kickstarter campaign max, as far
Wow.
as like how much it costs to prepare it, right? Because everything should exist already. You should
Yeah.
already have whatever prototype you're making. You should, all you gotta do is make a decent video, and you should be
Mhm.
fine, right? But don't go and try to reinvent the wheel and make all these extra assets because you're supposed to this money is supposed to help you build the dang thing. So
Right.
so don't go into debt on that. I also tell people, uh, um, always pre-prepare. So have like a whole bunch of people already ready to go day one. You gotta
Mhm.
have that. You gotta have a large group of people early, ready to go, and never friends and family. It's
Okay.
very important to never, ever, ever rely on friends and family when it comes
Right.
to a business. All right, all right. Just this is a different mechanic.
Right.
So let's say this. This is I always give this example too when it comes to friends and family.
Mhm.
Your family member could have no broom. They don't have a broom. They need a
Right.
broom. You make brooms.
Right.
You clearly make a product from which they need. They need it. All
Mhm.
right. They have to buy a broom. When they buy the broom from you, it's a favor.
Right.
No matter how it comes in, it's always a favor. Doesn't matter if they need it or not. They're doing a favor for you by buying your broom.
Right.
That kind of energy means that they will not be reliable as a customer. They will
Mhm.
not. They're not a fan of your product. It's always a favor. It's a family mechanic, right? It's a friend
Right.
mechanic. I'm doing a favor for you if I do business with you, right?
Right.
Even though they might need it, right? And
Right.
they're gonna buy it anyway.
Mhm.
So it's always best to get strangers because strangers care. They really care about your product if they bought from you. They're
And
not
how
they're not it's never a favor mechanic or anything like that, right? That's why I also don't lead with buy my product because it's black. I never do that, right? I say
Right.
buy my product because it's the Gucci of comic books.
Right. Gotcha.
It's the
Gotcha.
highest quality book you'll ever see in your life, and it's black.
Yeah, that's funny, man. So let me ask you, how do you get those other people, like you said, prior to your Kickstarter campaign? How do you galvanize those people so when you drop
Social
your
media.
campaign? Okay.
Social media. You gotta have a social media presence nowadays.
Okay.
It's just pointless not to have it. And you can do some funny stuff. I've seen people who are chefs. Hey,
Mhm.
you know what? You know where chefs kill it more than anywhere else?
Where's that?
TikTok.
Really? Wow.
Restaurants dominate on TikTok.
Get
They
out of
they
here.
do local stuff. They always use the same hashtag every time.
Mm,
Memphis, Memphis, Memphis. That's all they
gotcha.
do every day. That's their tag, and they on there doing the June bug challenge while
Right.
cooking like some seasoned freaking catfish or something. They're like, doing dance like this. They're not doing no regular dance. They're
Right.
doing cooking. They cooking to the beat.
Right.
And that stuff gets them. I'm going to that restaurant right now. Sometimes it goes viral. If it goes viral,
Right.
you didn't pay for a 1 million view ad.
Exactly.
You didn't pay for it, but TikTok paid for it. They said, "Oh, this is interesting. He's cooking that shrimp amazingly."
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. I wanted to ask you real quick. I only have a couple more questions for you. I know we're getting short on time. In terms of an exit strategy, do you have an exit strategy for Black Sands Entertainment, or is this going to be a legacy play?
This is more of a legacy play. I want to see Rome burn. So, I'm Hannibal in this mug. I don't care. I have to see Rome burn. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
40 years, and we haven't seen a single Hollywood production about African history, period.
Wow.
It's the banned genre of storytelling in America. We could talk about Indian history. We could talk about European all day, every day, 15 times a year. We can talk about Australian history. We can talk about Asian history, but Africa is off limits. We can never mention that Africa had any civilizations. So be able to fund those productions ourselves, right, with Black consumers, be able to distribute those things ourselves and build a new gate. Say, why support Disney when Black Sands is doing all this? Right? You should make it through Black Sands. Like I say, anybody who wants to make some new stuff, go through Black Sands. Disney ain't gonna do it anyway. And then Disney's gonna try to get on that train. But by then, I done pissed everybody off so bad, right? That they'll be like, I don't want to just support this Disney movie, right? Just to be confrontational, release on the same weekend, Like, all right, whatever movie you're making, I'm releasing that same weekend. He said, I'm just gonna hit your numbers right now.
Man, it's crazy that you mentioned that. I was watching an interview with Nate Parker, with American Skin, his new film that's out. And I forgot who interviewed him, but he was talking about how he had to go, he's an independent filmmaker, and how he had to go outside of the community. He basically said, I got to go to white folks to make a movie that doesn't make white folks look that good. And he said it doesn't even make sense. And so you just talked about really controlling your vertical.
But the thing is, he doesn't have the tools in place to do it.
Right.
That's his reality.
Right.
I raised $1 million to make a demo of an animation.
Right.
Imagine what happens when it's actually going to be done. And then I say, I want $30 million to make this show. It will show up. It will show up. And 95% of my investors will be Black.
Right.
That's what happened.
So my question to you is, how do you think somebody on the notoriety level of Nate Parker, what's he doing wrong? Or what is it he not
probably
doing?
Just doesn't have any. See, this is the thing. There's a huge difference between popularity, right? And conversion.
Right.
People can get a lot of likes and not be able to raise capital. I was looking at my boys, I love them to death, right? But I'm not even gonna mention their thing, but they have the biggest social media following on earth. They have like 4 million followers on YouTube, 3 million on Instagram, like 1 million on Twitter, 2 million on TikTok. They are dominating, right?
Right.
Every video they do, like at least 20 million views collectively.
Damn.
Try to raise capital. Tried to raise some money for a convention that they want to do, their own convention, right? Maybe raise $5,000, $6,000 collectively over like the course of 3 weeks or a month, right?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Me, I'm raising capital for my next investment round. I have 400,000 followers max across all platforms. They said I'm raising capital for this round. I'm raising $535,000. Right. 24 hours into the campaign, 200,000 is gone.
Wow, that's what's up. Yeah, that's a big difference.
Just they haven't trained their people to convert and then make others convert. It's like these are soldiers. These are not people who are just investors. They go and say, I invested in Black Sands. Are you crazy if you did it? You know,
Right.
it's like you'll miss this train. You know, and so like I said, those people, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
I have to go to white folks to go and get this funded.
Right.
That hasn't been our story, and that will never be our story because we know how to get people to take action. You know, this is for kids. It's like my stories are dope for older people. They love that stuff. But the most important thing is when they get that product, they
Right.
put it in the hands of their son or their grandson or whatever, and they see that energy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They don't care how much money they got to invest to go and make sure that this product goes off to the ages.
Yeah.
So
And that's important too, man, because what you're doing isn't, you're just not entertaining people. You're educating them, and you're showing kids, look what's possible. You're giving them, or depicting and creating a narrative that's a positive narrative. And once again, we're fighting everything in media right now. The dumb stuff travels a lot faster and stronger than the good stuff that's out there. You got idiots doing stupid stuff on social media, and you'll get 10 million follows or views of somebody doing something that's basically just silly. But when you start talking education, you start talking about creating a positive self-image for black kids and black people. That's something that doesn't go quite as well. I think you've tapped into it though. You have the ability, based on everything you're doing, to tap into it, and I think it makes sense for people. But I think what you're doing penetrates, because it makes sense, and what you're doing is something that's really much needed in the industry. I wanted to ask you real quick, can you give us your handles for social media? If you got anything new coming out, share with the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family how we can support you, brother.
yeah, so you could always just follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube with Black Sands Entertainment with no spaces. That's how it comes up. Black Sands Entertainment, same name.
Gotcha.
You can also go to blacksandsentertainment.com if you want to buy our books. And if you want to read our content for free, we have an app coming out called BSP Comics. It's not just our comic books, it's comic books from 30 different creators in the Black community. So there's a lot of comic books on there, all mobile optimized. So you're going to see it on your phone and be able to read it instantly. 100% free app. All right. You can pay if you want to, right? If you want to just get stuff really quickly. Most things are released over time, but if you're going to get things really quickly, you can always pay. That way we can give people options to give us a lot of money if they feel like it. But for the most part, everything's free on the app. You'll love it. And you'll also help us with the downloads, right? So download it, even if you ain't going to use it, just download it. Download 5-star. That's how we do it, right? Download 5-star. There we go. Best app ever. Loaded like a charm.
Yeah. Hey man, that's amazing. Like I said, I love the energy. I love what you're doing, man. Is there anything else you'd like to add to the interview that I may have left out or neglected to ask you?
Well, let's just say this. Everybody who's listening here, if you think that our company has what it takes to become a $1 billion IP, right? Let's just use that terminology, right? Then, follow us, get close and get on the mailing list on our website, sign up for our mailing list and be ready to invest. Our next investment round will probably be in May. That will be for our app. So we can, throw a whole bunch of gas on the fire to go and, make that blow up, right? We have a strong launch ready. So you're going to see the numbers before the investment round. I guarantee it. I always lead with the numbers. And then from there, you make an informed decision on whether you think this is the run, right? Well, let's go. Get ready for it. I always tell people get ready early, right?
Right. Is there a specific block or size that you need to invest?
It's always $100. That's the minimum. So $100 is the minimum requirement.
Okay, cool. And my last question to you, brother, if you had the opportunity to speak to somebody, living or dead, who would it be and why? Have a conversation.
Probably talk to Akon.
Okay. And why would you talk to Akon?
He's a strategic partner, man. I want to take over Africa. I need him. Right? I need him, man. I need him to take over Africa. That's what I need.
Oh, man. And
I love his music, man. His voice is so soulful, man. I'm so angry he don't make music anymore, man. Oh, hurt my
That's
soul,
funny.
man. But this dude rich, so he don't care. You
He,
know,
so he
he got,
he
he got
controlling the
his
whole
money left.
continent. Nah, that's what's up, man. Hey, brother, I appreciate you, man, for sharing time with the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family. Hey, BEB family, you know what we do. Anybody that we have on the platform, please support the brothers and sisters that are on here. You know, I only bring on people that are doing good, positive things for the community. So once again, man, I appreciate you for being on here, bro. And anytime you got something new coming out, please feel free to jump on the platform, hit me up and say, hey, man, I got something coming out, and we'll be more than happy to have you on, man. That was an amazing and informative interview with my man, Manuel Godoy, the founder of BlackSandsEntertainment.com. Make sure you check out the website and everything this brother is doing. He's doing tremendous work in the community, and that comic book and the videos, they're educating our youth. So make sure you support that brother. Now, before I do the takeaways, I just want to share my social media contact information and my resource links. So at the top of the show, I started off by talking about my new book is out, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. So if you're interested in building a successful, sustainable e-commerce business, go to anewblackwallstreet.com. Pick yourself up a copy. It's $14.95 for the print version, $9.95 for the digital version. Now, if you need additional assistance building a successful, sustainable e-commerce business, my flagship program, Brand Builder Academy Elite, is compatible with the book. So you can go to bbaelite.com and enroll in a 14-week all-inclusive program that helps you create a brand from start to finish. It doesn't matter if it's a physical brand or a digital brand. Go to bbaelite.com and use the coupon code BBAELITE100 and save $100 off of the enrollment. Also, I mentioned at the top of the show the two platforms I created to help circulate dollars in the worldwide black economy. The first one is BeSmartByBlack.com, and then you have HireBlackFreelancers.com. BeSmartByBlack.com was created for black product producers to sell their wares to black consumers worldwide, and it is free to upload your product information. So please upload it to BeSmartByBlack.com. Now, you freelancers, I didn't forget about you guys. If you do anything on Fiverr.com or Freelancer.com, upload your contact information and connect with black consumers and black businesses that want to hire black freelancers. So hire, H-I-R-E, blackfreelancers.com. Also, my new rebranded, rebooted Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Academy is up and running, guys. So you can go to bebacademy.com. Inside the academy, you have all of my trainings, my resources, and my courses, and you can get 5 days free access. Just go to bebacademy.com and you have 5 days free access to all the courses, all the trainings, and everything in the academy. Now, I know this is a mouthful, family, so you can just go to bebconnect.com, and that'll take you to a page on the website that will have all the links to everything I just talked about and the other stuff I'm about to tell you. Go to bebconnect.com. Now, also, family, if you want to connect with me via social media, if there's anything long, hit me on my email, jjones@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, JAYJONES at blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Facebook, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Twitter, jjones001. Instagram, jjones4real. That's JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, family, and hit the subscribe button when you go on. I have additional content on YouTube that is not on the show. Yes, all of the episodes drop on YouTube, but there's additional content, so check out the YouTube channel. Just go search for Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Also, LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn. Just search for J. Jones Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Also, Clubhouse. If you're on Clubhouse, check me out and follow me at I am J Jones, at I am J Jones. And also to subscribe to the BEB text lines for notifications and reminders about special events. Text BEB to 555-888, BEB to 555-888. So there's multiple takeaways, family, from this interview with Manuel Godoy, founder of Black Sands Entertainment. One of the things that stood out to me was he talked about if stuff isn't selling, shut it down. He talked about some of his issues or some of his comic books weren't selling, shut it down. I know when we're creators and we're building a business, it's almost like you have a baby, right? And you don't want to throw the baby away. But if the product or service or whatever you're selling isn't working, you got to get rid of it. Don't hang on to it too long. All right. So that was something that really stood out because I know a lot of times we as entrepreneurs have trouble doing that. Something else he hit on too that, I've always been a big proponent of. You don't rely on family and friends to build your business. Okay. Once again, there's a different dynamic. There's a different mindset involved. It's funny. Some of my family members and friends still don't know what I do for a living because I don't tell them. Now, if they find out by happenstance, oh man, how come you didn't tell me? I didn't tell you because if I told you, you wouldn't respect it anyway. You got to let somebody else tell you what's going on. So never rely on family and friends to build your business. Yes, they will probably, or some of them will probably support you, but you cannot build a sustainable business just with family and friends. Also, I like when he talked about the Nate Parker thing. When Nate Parker was on an interview saying that he had to go to white folks to finance his movie American Skin. And so he was talking about the difference between popularity and conversion. So you may be very popular on social media, but you can't convert that into sales or monies or revenues. And so I thought he really was hitting on something very serious when he talked about that. It seems a lot of times that people are just concerned about, what are my social media numbers? What are my numbers? How many followers I got? The question is, are those followers going to be engaged followers? And are they going to purchase your products and or services? So that was very intriguing to me that he broke that down. And he also was talking about Black Sands Entertainment, the studio. And so he's looking at a bigger vision where Black Sands Entertainment can create those stories that we can't see or don't see about ancient Africa. So the stories that the big studios don't want to put money behind. So that's why, family, we always got to support our own. We always have to support our own businesses so we can create the narrative and basically put out the things that we need for our kids and actually for all of us, for our future. So if you wait on somebody else to put out the type of materials they're putting out, the only things you're going to see on TV that depict us mostly, unfortunately, are negative stereotypes. So we need to be able to create the narrative, and that's what Black Sands Entertainment is doing. Now, before we close on out, family, I just want to say that please continue to spread the word about the podcast, the blog, and all the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint ecosystem, because once again, it's more than that. It's a movement, family. We're trying to build an economic power base in the Black community. Okay, and in order to do that, we need to build and support Black-owned businesses. Now, we've been getting more and more downloads each and every week, and that's attributed to you guys, the BEB family. Please continue to spread the word about the podcast, the blog, and the ecosystem. And once again, it's about building an economic power base in the Black community and leveling us all up. Okay, so we have to be very intentional and conscious about where we focus and direct our monies. And we need to make sure that we take the time to be intentional when we start buying products and services. Who are we supporting and who supports us? Stop giving your money to industries and people and ethnicities that don't care about you. Okay? You need to start funneling your monies and being consistent, and also making sure that you're looking for Black-owned businesses to do business with. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.